Dude, it looks so cool. Sun continuity. We've upgraded. Generic control and the Goose. We're back with another episode of Overanalyzing Avatar. Today we're doing the Firebending Masters, where Zuko and Aang go on their little adventure and meet like the dragons and like those old firebending people, like the, I don't know, the natives I think they were or something like that. You should react to the last video, which had the hilarious Zuko meme. I almost had Goku there for a second. The Western Air Temple. I'll leave my reaction to that video right up there. Also give a link down below in the description. Also in place on my channel with all the other Overanalyzing Avatar reactions. Going in chronological order, we are approaching the end of Overanalyzing Avatar, which is crazy to think about. I do read all your comments, so leave some down below. Also, shout out to the patrons, because they get the videos a day early. A lot of time I have a paywall on channel. They support these videos. The last video, the Western Air Temple, I'm dealing with copyright right now with that video, because I'm recording this video on August 4th. That video should have went live like last Thursday, and it has been the most difficult episode of Overanalyzing Avatar I have ever had to put up with, and I have literally no time because I'm literally having to record this on August 4th because I've been away for the past week or so I had to do a whole bunch of videos. That's why I had to do the blurring in YouTube instead of through my computer, my editing software, just because I was having to edit 25 videos within the span of 3 days and make a whole bunch of thumbnails as well, which is crazy. But let's go ahead and jump into the Firebending Masters. Alright, if anything's ever blurred, YouTube's copyright system. I'm sorry.
You can make.
I can't do anything about it.
I like that Aang tries to firebend with an open hand here because he's inexperienced. Most of the time, firebenders
fist, yeah.
bend with punches, at least with direct attacks. But Aang did figure out the little bit he did with open palms before, so it makes sense here that he would try and bend like this again. And don't get me going on this, oh, this makes Sozin bending smoke through his body makes sense. Look, he only bended smoke. Do not. This doesn't help. There's this funny little Fire Nation theme that plays when Zuko fails to firebend.
Oh.
That's pretty funny. We've also seen Zuko take a stance very similar to this when he was squaring up to fight Aang pre-Azula killing him.
Pre-Azula killing him.
Why is this happening?
Maybe it's the altitude.
Yeah.
That would be possible.
Could be.
Okay, so Aang says this, but they're in the wall of a canyon, right? So they'd be lower than you usually would be on ground, if I'm not mistaken.
They're on a mountain.
And then they move even further down the canyon. So is this canyon like in a mountain or something?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
That one kind of felt hot.
Don't patronize me. You know what it's supposed to look like.
Sorry, Sifu Hotman.
And stop
What
calling
is that?
me that.
Damn, they stitched two jokes together here really nicely. Half of it is Aang and him thinking Hotman is still something people say 100 years later. And the other half is him calling Toph Sifu and not Katara, and Katara being annoyed about it. So Sokka walks up here with what seems to be a complete apple, totally intact. And then we hear him take one bite. And then we see the apple again, and holy shit, that's the biggest bite out of an apple anyone's ever taken. Jesus, how did he do that?
That's a big bite.
Mind if I watch you two jerks do your jerk bending?
So Sokka comes up here to annoy Aang and Zuko for seemingly no reason.
Yeah,
I
just
always
why?
Like the idea that he came up here to see
He's
if they were
jealous?
doing okay, considering how new Zuko is to the crew.
Or
and
he's jealous
he'd
of
see if Zuko was still as touchy as he
losing
used to be.
Aang as
So
a
now
friend?
we fade to this platform
Like,
that the gang has set
status?
up camp
I
on,
don't
which
know.
is the same platform from last episode when Combustion Man attacked. You can tell because this broken pillar lines up between both episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we see that this structure above the fountain is doing totally fine. But last episode, Combustion Man blew it to absolute hell. Rock chunks flying and everything. By God, they're using the same pot as last time. Let's fucking go.
Pot
I bet it's
continuity.
because I changed sides.
Maybe your firebending comes from rage, and you just don't have enough anger to fuel it the way
Katara's
you
not
used to.
happy.
I mean, I don't know. Zuko's still a pretty angry guy, Aang.
Yeah.
He's yelled at everyone he's interacted with up until this scene in this episode. I
Literally.
don't know where you're getting this no anger anymore idea from.
You're gonna need to learn to draw your
Frustration.
firebending from a different source.
Look how animated Sokka is here, man. In so many other shows, Sokka would just freeze on one still frame while Toph talked. But here, he's emoting all over the place. It's just little stuff like this that makes Avatar feel so alive.
That's
For
funny,
earthbending, the
actually.
original benders were badger moles.
One
day when I was little,
And airbending
I
was
ran
sky
away and hid in a
bison.
cave.
Who
That's
did?
where I met them.
Toph learning from the Badger Moles is a really
Was the
cool
moon
touch.
water-
The blind earthbender
water
learning from
bending?
the best blind earthbenders is just a super cool idea. Just to base your strongest character in one element around a disability, but it's a disability they share with an animal that knows that certain magic the best. It's just like really smart. man.
Yeah.
The way everything folds into itself. Fuck.
That's amazing, Toph. I learned from the monks, but the original airbenders...
Or arrow.
Wait, now in this shot,
The
the
what?
fountain's
The
super jacked
Union?
up. Every single leg of the thing above it is broken. Oh well, at least they have it right now.
Do
I
they?
know
Now it's
they
gonna go
weren't
back
around
to
when I
fix.
was a
Watch.
kid.
Even a little throwaway line like this packs a lot behind it. Aang speaks as if his childhood is behind him now, and it makes sense with how much responsibility he's had to take on. Compared to this line from the first
growing up
episode of the series.
is expensive.
I haven't done this since I was a kid. You still are a kid.
Even though these
Yeah.
buildings are ancient, there's something eerily familiar about them. I can tell the fire sages' temples are somehow descended from these.
Really?
Yeah.
The fire temples to me seem to look like old Japanese-style buildings, like pagodas.
These look
but
like
to me, these buildings
Aztec.
look more like Olmec or Toltec architecture. Even if they look
Sure.
more Aztec, I might be able to see where Zuko's coming from with this, but I'm no fucking
I guess they're
building
not
doctor,
Aztec.
I guess.
I don't know. Oh. That wouldn't have been bad if he was anything other than a
I can't
airbender.
believe it. This booby trap must be centuries old.
It's not.
And it still works.
It's not.
Well, now hold on, Zuko. There is precedent for this. Even if the Sun Warriors weren't still around and probably maintaining their traps, the Fire Nation themselves have tripwires that apparently last for at minimum 6 decades, since Hama
That's
said
true.
the raids were 60 years ago.
That's so
I
cool.
feel like you could just step between the spikes, Zuko. Why does everyone insist on making things way more dangerous than they have to
Because
be?
it's not cool.
I'm not sure what this tells us about the original source of firebending.
Dragons.
They look pretty angry to me.
I thought the dragons were friends with the Sun Warriors.
Obvious one, but this carving illustrates the successful carrying out of the ritual Aang and Zuko complete at the end of this episode. You can even see the Sun Warrior in the middle with the 2 pieces of the eternal fire he was given to hold.
My great-grandfather Sozin happened.
Oh,
He started the tradition of hunting dragons for glory.
Damn, that's cold, Sozin.
Which is
You
crazy.
had a dragon companion yourself. You think Sozin offed his own pet eventually?
The last great dragon was
maybe,
conquered
or maybe
long
his
before I
died and he was like,
born
no one can have him now.
by my uncle.
It's interesting that Iroh went to see Ran and Shaw before Zuko was even born, meaning that Iroh was still all about the Fire Nation war effort at that point, seeing as he was still Crown Prince and an acting general when Zuko was around 10. We'll get back to that.
God, I love Ira.
It's locked up!
I hate to say it, Aang, but couldn't you just blast a hole in the wall? And then
They
even
could.
if you didn't want to pull out the Mechanist, couldn't you just dig under the door and fill it back up lickety-split? Doors
Yeah.
should almost never be a problem for you anymore.
Never. But it's also booby traps, I guess.
Zuko, I don't care what everyone else says about you. You're pretty smart.
Zuko only took one sword out to redirect the light in the shots prior to this, but in this shot he
Yes,
puts
too.
both swords back into his sheath.
I think this is some kind of Sun Warrior firebending form.
This better teach us some really good firebending.
A good thing they're not alone. Fusion
Look,
dance.
hey, look, they did a Dragon Ball.
It's some
Yeah.
kind of mystical gemstone.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Has Aang seen Indiana Jones?
He might
I'm
have.
Just saying, I don't think I'd know about pressure plate traps if it weren't for that movie when I was 12, or maybe even now.
I'm just
I've
very
seen Indiana
suspicious
Jones.
of giant glowing gems sitting on pedestals.
So it's too
Glowing.
easy.
It feels almost alive.
So we're supposed to assume this is the dragon egg, right? Maybe in
Yeah.
some sort of gold casing. That's pretty neat, I would say.
That's
I can't
bad.
get free. It's like some kind of glue.
This is a fucking horrifying death to anyone in the
It'd
room
be
that didn't get flung
glue.
up here and turned around, or isn't an airbender. Could you imagine drowning in glue? Jesus.
That would be awful.
Oh, and there goes the staff. Damn, he was doing so
Does
good
he
with
really
the new
lose
one,
the
too.
staff? Yeah. How do they empty that room? Is that a one-time trap?
Where's this camera angle coming from? Isn't the glue substance completely up to the grating?
Who's down there?
Also, this is one of my favorite lines in the whole show. I don't know why. I just love how it's delivered. Here, let me try.
What?
Who's down there? Anteater sloth? Anteater bear?
For trying to take our sunstone, you must be severely punished.
So wait, which thing
That's
is
a
the
sunstone?
Zuko described the gem that opened the door as the sunstone, but the chief here speaks as if the egg that was on the pedestal was the sunstone. So which is
Okay.
Please,
Wha-
I don't normally play this card, but I'm the Avatar.
I could make a comprehensive list of every time Aang does in fact play this card. It's not all the time, but it is sometimes.
I know my people have distorted the ways of firebending to be fueled by anger and rage. But now I want to learn the true way.
Ah,
Ah,
Maintain a constant heat. The flame will go out if you make it too small.
yeah.
Make it too big. You might lose control.
I like how they
I
tell
really
both
love
of them.
that the Sun Warrior's philosophy is the exact opposite of Zhongzheng's. Zhongzheng was so disenchanted with the art of firebending because he was surrounded by the misuse of it for his entire life. So much so that he even refers to it as savagery.
We
more
still
than
don't know what
use.
he was
So
talking
it's
about.
Really, really cool that these people who are all decked out in tribal clothing, that a closed-minded person could describe as savages upon a cursory glance,
Savages?
are the ones that do it right and healthily. Zhongzheng had become so disillusioned with firebending because of the horrors he'd seen committed with it, so he chose to preach a form
That's
of
fair.
firebending that was centered on restraint. He has this quote that actually sort of borders on Sun Warrior philosophy.
Feel the heat of the sun. It is the greatest source of fire.
I wonder why.
It is in complete balance with nature.
But clearly the rest of his outlook has been permanently scarred by what he's seen. It's just so cool that masters of each
I guess
element
War
can
would
have
do that.
differing views from even each
That's
other
the
due to
eternal
their own
flame.
unique experiences and mindsets. Sort of like Iroh and Guru Patik disagreeing on Aang giving up his loved ones. This looks really weird for Avatar. I know it's far in the background, but this doesn't look like most Avatar backgrounds or distant shots. This almost looks like it was a painting or something.
Uh-huh.
Have you forgotten that you vanished?
Maybe the sun
allowing
waves
the
from the
Fire
heat,
Nation
you know?
to wreak havoc on the world? The decline of the dragons is your burden too.
Oh man, that's some shit. He already feels bad enough about running away. Now you're gonna put the extinction of an animal on him too?
What if they
He doesn't
judge
need
us
that.
and attack us?
Well, we're the Fire Prince and the Avatar. I think we could take these guys in a fight, whoever they are.
I don't think so.
Zuko's on the same kind of shit I am. Who cares about being in trouble with a little old lady? Or who cares about two pretty good firebenders being mad at you? You're both hard as fuck. You can do
The
whatever you
dragons.
want.
Yeah, the dragons.
Okay, so there's this weird question in this moment. Is this super cool because it turns out the ending theme to every episode has been this ancient Sun Warrior drum beat? Or is it lame
Is it
as
really?
hell that they're reusing the ending theme to be this song?
I think
It's
it
all
might
a
be
matter of how you
lame.
look at it, I guess. I've gone back and forth on how I feel about it.
That's a lot of steps. That's a lot of steps.
I've always kind of been disappointed that the drumming doesn't match up with the music at all, though. For how incredible this scene is, you'd think they'd want to nail absolutely everything down, but they didn't get that. It almost makes me
Yeah.
think that there was originally a different song because of it.
That would make sense. And it's how they sung Ricola. And now the dragons come out.
If you were in this
How
situation,
often they have to
you
do
would've
this?
put together that these two aren't just some nutso firebending guys, right? There's a whole song, ladies are bowing, a giant horn calls them. I'm just saying, there's some context clues that go very missed here.
Hello.
So it seems like Ran and Shaw are a different species of dragon when compared to Roku's dragon. Not only is their
Different
facial structure
species.
different, but they're like way bigger too. So in this one singular shot,
Well, they're
the
also
sun is
older.
over the Sun Warrior city in the background. But for the rest of the scene, it's out over the ocean.
Sun continuity. We've upgraded.
We're supposed to do the dragon dance with them.
It's really cool that the original form of firebending was actually much akin to a dance, which
Yeah.
only drives home more that the Fire Nation is doing it wrong since dancing is
Doing
all
it
forbidden.
wrong.
Yeah, I bet you didn't think there'd be any headband shit coming back, but I found a way. This is just visually stunning, man. Some of my favorite shots in Avatar. Aang and Zuko mirroring the dragon's dance is just moving. I'm going to talk a lot more about it in the wrap-up.
It's
of the
so
episode.
cool.
It's quick, but in this shot, the camera actually shakes a little bit. I think that's there so you can actually kind of
Magnitude
feel
of
the
the
weight
dragon.
of these huge
Yeah.
animals as they flap their wings, and I think that's a super cool technique to pull that off.
Judgment time.
Judgment time.
So I bet you're wondering how I got myself into this one.
Dude, it looks so cool.
This is so unfortunate that I need to steal this incredible moment from you. But it turns out that Zuko's scar is on the wrong side in this shot. But it's not just
Wait,
that.
what?
The entire shot is actually flipped. Zuko's scar is on the wrong side, yes, but Aang's clothes usually go over his left shoulder, but not in this shot. They go over his right. It's a real shame that they got that mixed up in this series of shots of what is otherwise.
I guess they, like,
unseasonable
looked at a
trauma.
pic-
And just like, wow, if
Yeah.
this song wasn't already beautiful enough in the first place, they hit us with this. I can't sing these few minutes praises enough.
My uncle
I
Iroh said
loved
he
it.
faced the last dragon and killed it.
Yeah, so okay,
Yeah, no.
Iroh went on this whole enlightening journey before Zuko was born, if what Zuko said earlier is to be believed. So Iroh went and learned the secret of firebending, but then went right on back to being a general of the Fire Lord's army for another decade,
Probably-
or probably more
he
from
probably
the way
couldn't stop
Zuko
it.
chose to word it. He said it was before Zuko was even born that he killed the last dragon. Huh. I feel like a lot of people figured this was a big part of what made Iroh the way he is in present day, and it probably
Because he
is,
met the
but
dragons?
People probably think Iroh met the dragons after Liu Ten's death, which pushed him to be the way he is. But according to this episode, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the sun, but inside of you. Do you guys realize this?
No.
No.
We have no choice but to imprison you here forever.
What?
Just kidding.
I
Just
really
kidding.
like that the Sun Chief loosens up a lot once these two pass the
Well,
test.
yeah, they
I
got.
don't know why. I just
Dude,
like
if you
this
get
guy.
okayed by the
Seriously,
dragons,
Don't tell anyone.
Oh, I'm really glad they're not going to tell anyone about the dragons.
With this technique the dragon showed us.
oh,
Ah!
We'll just tap dance our way to victory over the Fire
tap
Lord.
dance.
It's a
a
sacred
callback
form
to
that
the
happens
Footloose
to be
episode?
thousands of years old.
Oh yeah? What's your little form called?
Forget you, Katara. I'll dance like a dragon over your fucking grave if you keep it up with this lip. This is my favorite episode. And you know what? I'm not entirely
Favorite
sure
episode?
why. It's just whenever someone asks me
It's
what's
cool.
your favorite episode, this is the one that comes
Yeah.
to mind first. I think it's all in the ending. The imagery of the dragon's dance is just something that really resonates with me for some reason. The rest is cool and all, the
And the
world
fire.
building and the lore and
The
the
colors.
culture of the Sun Warriors, but man, the dragon dance, right? It's just so incredible to look at. Our two main characters move in synchronicity with these two ancient, beautiful animals. And it all comes to a head with this wonderful display of light that the viewer isn't even sure if they understand the way the characters did. There's just a special something in there that I don't think is captured in
I
any
can't believe
other
they got
scene in
the
the show. This feeling of
things
connectedness
mirrored.
to oneself and an art form, and being in the right place in the right time, and being worthy and knowing what you have to do. It's just everything comes together in that one scene, and I think that's what makes this my favorite episode. Patron shoutouts.
Such
If
a
you
good
want me to
episode.
Episodes ahead of the YouTube releases. You can support me on
2
Patreon.
episodes.
for
I
just
also
a
have
few bucks.
Patreon.
Link as always is in the
I
description
think
below the
last
video.
video is
Biggest shoutouts
currently
of all go to my top
processing because
patrons.
I had
Bird,
to
who
edit
subscribed to a lightning
inside of
strike by
YouTube.
blocking it with what ended up being a winning lottery.
I did
ticket.
25
Lumberjacker,
videos
who's
among
the
3
real
days.
thing
Don't
they're
worry about it.
hiding in
Also,
Area
make all the
51.
thumbnails.
Charlie Rock Quigley, who was an Aztec war god in his past life. Danger Stranger, who bowled a 310-point game somehow.
That's not
Daniel
possible.
Ward, who was actually a merman in disguise. You can tell because of the gills and the fish eyes. Emperor Tromedlov Dromai, who won a spelling contest against Google autocorrect.
Video
Eric
is
Barney, who
still
can do
processing.
actual magic, but he
Still
can only pull
blocked.
rabbits out of hats. That's the only thing. Etc., who's so jacked and vascular his chest looks like a topographical map of Arizona. Finished Blood, who broke out of Alcatraz with only a paperclip in his wits.
topographical
Fritz
map of
Sullivan, who threw a
Arizona.
party that was so rad the cops showed up and they just joined in. Harrison
seen that
Poland,
before.
who's currently possessed by a demon, but he's too spiritually strong to even notice. Jared Berkman, who showed up to the red carpet in pajama pants and still won Best Dressed. John, who could jump up and touch any ceiling, no matter how high. Misha Boblov, who can turn gold into lead, but not the other way around. Nopetron, who slayed the one actual dragon that ever existed. Shame we couldn't get that species off the ground. Pran of Prem, whose hallucinations become real life, so things get pretty dicey around them at a party. Sean Martin, who only measures things in weird nautical ways, like leagues or fathoms. Soup Cube, who jumped over 9 helicopters while they were on a razor scooter. The Sinking Bubble, who can pump gas at twice the speed of your average bear. The Ultimate Ed, who is twice the bear of your average bear. And You Frickin' Nerd, who was in a never-ending battle with a human-sized lobster. Every beach trip is the same damn thing. And of course, more huge shoutouts go to my other fuck you money patrons: Agent Rhino, Brendan Murphy, Donnie Snow, Dylan Calvo, Dylan Rose, Jerry Kraft, Caitlin, Kennedy Stapleton, Leif Arnhammer, Luke
actually
Herrera,
gonna take,
Mandatory
like,
Sin, Max Lewandowski, Nick Kaipainen, Omega
8
Fighter,
days off
RCNFL,
doing
Skylos,
YouTube,
Tiago
I
Nascimento,
think.
Varunda, and Zoompi. And my God,
Videos still gonna
Overanalyzing,
come out.
Alex Fritz,
It's
Ali
been a
QBZM,
crazy couple
Andrew
weeks.
Watford, Austin
On
Gallup,
top of
Female
other things that
Valentine, Big
happened.
Thirsty,
I should be
Brand
starting
Muffin, Cameron
Resident Evil
Solo, Kanon
4
Charles Barnett,
that's coming
Chase
up,
Brignac,
or
Chris
the
Dolman,
remake
Dan
this
Bertel,
Saturday.
Daniel Nordzig, David Carlisle, Derek Cornwell, DJ Jax, Do Mutual Aid, Dominic Saint,
It's sad that I'm
Distant,
almost
Earth 2
remembering
John,
some of these
Eleanor Rose,
patrons.
Eric Ross, Garrett Kane, Gub Gub, Homie One Kenobi, Isaiah Wilson, It's Carton,
Also
Jacob
sponsored.
Priest, Jake the Garden Rake, James Hanlon, Jay Lambo, Jeremy Rubenstein, Jimbo, John Ajaka, Jot Moreland, Joshua Bone, Joshua Haskett, Juice Pouch Grape, Justin Scott, K-Dax, Keon Gilliland, Lady Serena, Lehman Russ, Literal NASA Rocket Scientist, Matthew Stargell, Mr. Airborne, Mitchell Gobrecht, Mortius 007, Nickel Pickle 582, Nicholas Abbott, Omar,
What
Papa
is that
Daka,
name?
Parker, Back to the Basics Gas, Peyton Mims, Peter Bayron, Radiator Rat, Rocket Mist,
There's a
Shadow
lot of
Fox
S's.
Nero, Sky Not Darkened, Spory, Steinwall,
Oh,
Super
Lord.
Sniffer, Timothy Gutensky, Tiny Knight, Travis Chestnut, Tria Juice, Wilbur Steady Paycheck
Yep.
Mode, and Wolfman Dan. Next up is the Boiling Rock, and now
That's a
I
good
have to
one.
think of something to say about That's Rough Buddy that hasn't been said yet. Ah.
God, it's such a good episode. Is that the okay? That has to be the That's a Rough Buddy where he was like, what was it? His girlfriend turned into the moon or something like that. I don't know. I really enjoyed the Boiling Rock as well. Just here on out, I think all these episodes are good. Maybe not the Ember Island players. I'm not really sure how that went, but everything else is amazing. I'm not really sure what else happened in the episode. I'm sure something else, but the only thing I remember is the play and how frustrating that would have been. I know it's only a small part of that episode, but I look forward to the next episode. I hope you are too. You become a patron, get the videos a day early. I hope to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And I do read all your comments, so leave them down below. And you might want to read some comments as well. Kim Dog leaves a really good breakdown that Overanalyzing Avatar doesn't cover. So definitely read some comments. I hope to see you back in future videos. But until the next one, take care and keep the music.
We were playing